Students are already turning to AI for study support. Let's empower them to do it wisely. Today, I'll share 3 simple classroom moves that transform AI from an answer machine into a thinking partner, accompanied by ready to use self assessment checklists your students can use for greater independence. The UNESCO Global Youth Survey in June 2025 asked learners in more than 120 countries how they see AI in education. Students said they are excited about AI's potential to make learning easier and more personalized, but they also worried about misinformation, over reliance, and a lack of clear training leave them unsure of how to use AI responsibly. That's why UNESCO's built 2 AI competency frameworks, one for students, one for teachers. Both stress the same principle. Responsible AI isn't about having more tools, it's about how we use them. These frameworks guided the design of the checklist we are going to see here today. Feel free to pause the video here to review them in detail. You don't need to memorize these point by point. Together, they highlight why we are giving students structured checklists. So AI becomes a thinking partner, supporting evaluation, reflection, and independent learning. Students already have the tools in their hands. What they need from us is direction. When we act as the compass, modeling responsible use and building routines, AI points them toward growth instead of shortcuts. Here goes our first strategy: guided AI outputs with student critique. Let's start with something simple. I'll often ask AI, whether it's ChatGPT, Gemini, or Notebook, to create a quick quiz, a short summary, or some flashcards. The point isn't to hand students perfect materials. The point is to give them something to react to. Their task is to critique it. What's right? What's wrong? What's missing? They can annotate directly on the output and then use this checklist to guide them. It's less about memorizing the checklist and more about building the habit: compare, critique, contribute. That way, AI becomes a springboard for thinking, not a ready made answer. Here goes strategy number 2: reflection task with Socratic evaluation. By natural instinct, most students would just copy and paste AI's answers straight into their writing. By now, they should already know that's not acceptable. Instead, this is the moment to slow them down and transform this into a teachable moment. Ask them to pause and reflect using the Socratic method. That means breaking the answer apart with simple but powerful questions. Why does this make sense? How do we know this is true? What would change if we looked at it differently? Sometimes this kind of questioning helps them dig into a deeper answer. Other times it's just about noticing assumptions, spotting bias, or rewriting an idea in clearer words. That's where this checklist comes in. It keeps the reflection focused. This isn't about tearing answers apart. It's about training students to think beyond the surface and to make the response genuinely theirs. Let's take a look to strategy number 3: study cycle with AI plus voice mode. The third move makes things interactive. Here I combine 2 approaches: grounding and speaking. Notebook LM is great for grounding because it works directly with class materials, your textbook, your PDFs, your videos. Then I bring in voice mode. Tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, or Perplexity let students talk back to the AI. I tell them, generate an answer, then explain it in your own words. Say it out loud, ask the AI for a different version, teach it back until you're confident. This checklist keeps them on track. Think of it of a cycle. Say it, map it, stretch it. This way, AI becomes more like a study buddy, one that challenges students to recall, reframe, and adapt. Before we go, here's your ethics notes. Academic integrity isn't about catching students, it's about teaching them to build honest practices into their process. Detection tools are unreliable anyways and often mislabel the work of non-native and neurodivergent writers and students in general. Instead, we help students develop integrity by design. habits that become second nature through repetition. Here's an academic integrity checklist for you to use with your students right away. Let's read it together. I marked which parts came from AI and which are my own. I added at least one original idea or connection. I verified key information with a credible source. I reshaped instead of copy pasting. I was transparent. I'd be comfortable explaining my process. I asked myself, does this show my understanding? Think of this as training muscles. Students don't need to treat ethics as an extra. They practice it until it becomes part of their study DNA, just like citation habits in traditional writing. Here's my call to action. Share these checklists, model them yourself, show students that AI isn't about faster answers, it's about smarter, more ethical learning. If we treat AI as a shortcut, it weakens learning. If we guide it with structured and ethical habits, it strengthens it. Our job is to make integrity and questioning second nature so AI supports education without eroding its values. I will see you in the next video.